My regards to all chairpersons, Dr. Renu Mishra, Dr. Ritu, Dr. Bukaria, Dr. Manisha, and Dr. Jyoti Bhaskar. And coming to urinary tract infection review and new site. So I will not take much time. Thank you. The NIGF North India Gynae Forum was a inceptor. It is a brainchild of Dr. Sharda Jain, who really have proven that how we can go together, and a big gratitude for always being together. Wonderful memories for the 2nd January. And I bring greetings from eternal ascetic Gorakhnath Ji, who says Buddha, and we can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves. So UTI is the coming to topic. It is the most common infection. So with the COVID, we know after respiratory and GIT, urinary tract infection is one of the most common bacterial infection which affect around 150 million people. Women are more prone to it. As a gynecologist, we know it, short urethra, reproductive changes. So we are encountered to have, as a OB-GYN, at every age group we are going to face different type of urinary tract infection. So this is very, very important, and pregnancy poses a special situation for management as well as the elderly people and the geriatric people. Why it is so concerning? We cannot take it very lightly because it can lead to long-term renal complication, renal inefficiency, renal failure, and the pregnancy poses different things like preterm birth and the IUGR. So it depends what is the prognosis and management. It depends on site of infection and any predisposing factor. We know as a gynae, but we tend to forget sometimes basic, the beauty and the synchrony of nature which actually gives us. That is a kidney which filter all unwanted toxic substance as well as reabsorb what is needed for the body. Urinary bladder, which is a storehouse, and it is only ejaculated through urethra when the time is convenient. And the unintended UTI can lead to the defect damaging kidney. So this is very important that female are much more prone to UTI because they have only short urethra, 1.5 to 2 inch as compared to male. So basic things we have to remember. And what is uncomplicated? It is involving bladder and the sexual intercourse and the spermicide, frequent pelvic examination, use of antibiotic also, diabetes, and after kidney transplant the person is more prone to have the UTI. So this is something like a little bit of interest. We have to know that how antibiotic work and how we should not use the very rampant antibiotic without any really reasons. So UTI, all the bacteria have the adhesion, and the post-menopausal women have the altered vaginal microbiome, so they are more prone to have the UTI. We must differentiate between the complicated and uncomplicated urinary tract infection. That is again a very important thing. Uncomplicated when there is a bacterial infection of bladder, that is cystitis, and complicated when we have certain calculi, immunosuppression, renal failure, pregnancy, presence of foreign body, and the catheter. So this is one point that we have to differentiate in our clinical practice, the difference between complicated and the uncomplicated. Incidence is quite high, from 10 to 13% asymptomatic bacteria to 0.5 to 2% of the pyelonephritis. So it is the bacteria can come from the periurethra, they come from the bowel, and there can be the hematogenous spread. So why it is important to treat urinary tract infection thoroughly? Because from colonization to uroepithelial penetration to ascension to the pyelonephritis and acute kidney injury, and we now see so many patients waiting on the kidney transplant and the renal failure, that untreated urinary tract infection is also one of the cause of it. So what is makes a thing a little bit easy, that most common UTI causing organism is E. coli, followed by Klebsiella proteus and Enterobacter, and this knowledge actually gives us that in many situations we can start antibiotic on the symptom base or in the simple investigation. In hospital acquired, it can be Staphylococcus and the group beta hemolytic streptococci in the pregnant woman. So this is Indian scenario which says the same thing. E. coli, Klebsiella proteus are the most common thing. One thing that when we came to know the COVID, actually that caused only 1 gram of mRNA actually caused the lockdown in all over the world. It was only magnitude was 1 gram total. So bacteria are also very intelligent. Bacteria, virus, everybody is intelligent. So they have the adhesion tip, they have the protectin, they have the bacterial capsule and the production of toxin, and that cause their the power in causing the UTI. So this is a complicated thing. And the natural host defense, what makes us very, very susceptible to immunity, that is our general defense factor, urine directional flow, low pH, presence of salt and urea, and many, many protein which we are recognizing, that is TPH, defense in microbicidal protein and the bacterial internalization by epithelial cell. Why I put this slide? It seems complicated, but actually the world is like troubled with the antibiotic resistance, that the antibiotics are not working in UTI. You find every time the patient, we are really troubled with the recurrent UTI, and these new insight is going to change the treatment of UTI in future. Now what to diagnose? Diagnose, differentiate between upper and the lower UTI. So right from the symptom you can say that if it is a dysuria, increased frequency, hematuria and no fever, it is lower urinary tract infection, and when you see the chill, nausea, vomiting, back pain, it may be the upper urinary tract. So complicated versus uncomplicated, upper versus lower, that we have to categorize when we treat for the urinary tract infection. Lab diagnosis, urine collection and the clean catch midstream specimen, and this is again very, very important that you have to, or your lab person have to say how to take the sample. That is because we see sometimes you always see so many pus cells and the patient is totally asymptomatic. So how to take, how to clean, don't open that bottle before. You have to take the midstream urine, and that sample has to be either sent directly immediately to laboratory or stored in the refrigerator. So this is very, very important that the patient is knowing that how to take the clean catch sample for the urinary tract in examination. So standard diagnosis is more than 10 to power 5 colony FU per ml, then we consider that it is UTI. And this is the dipstick which we can do in every setting. That actually tells about pH, nitrite, leukocyte, esterase and the blood. And negative test, though it does not rule out UTI, but positive finding always help to make diagnosis. So negative dipstick, don't say that it is not UTI, but it is positive, it definitely says that it is UTI. So microscopy, we look for the Klebsiella like bacteria and WBC, and pH, which is, if it is alkaline, it is a almost sure sign that this is infected and patient is having UTI. So high pH points to the urinary tract infection. Leukocyte esterase, which is produced by WBC, so if it is more than 5 WBC per high power field, it is abnormal and highly suggestive of UTI. So for uncomplicated UTI, urine culture is not always essential. This is one message I want to give. However, the classical teaching is more than 10 to 5 colony forming unit, which is a gold standard for UTI. Then again, if you find blood cells, hematuria in the urine sample, that it helps in differentiating between vaginitis and urethritis. So simple thing, how to read urine microscopy, that also tells you that what type of UTI or urethritis or vaginitis you are dealing with. So these are few algorithm. MAC is an algorithm which says when you have the patient complaining for dysuria, detection of leukocytes and any detection of nitrites, it has a good sensitivity and specificity for the diagnosis of UTI. So nitrite positive 2, leukocyte positive 1.5, hematuria 1, moderately severe dysuria 1 and moderately severe nocturia 0.1. So we can use these diagnostic algorithms in every setting, and you can fairly accurately diagnose that this patient need treatment or not treatment. We have to differentiate between acute urethral syndrome and the urethritis and the non-infectious cause as well, with the good history and the physical examination. So what is the challenges, why we want to have that MAC-ISAC algorithm and everything, because in many settings the patient is like, you are not able to get culture or patient is not able to come. So these simple diagnostic algorithm will help you that you should start empiric therapy or not. So guidelines can be thin, so this is very, very important, that always now the today's world is that patient consent should also be important. So the physician experience, how often, like how clearly you diagnose with the simple microscopy, with the simple dipstick and the clinical course, and what is the wishes of the patient, that we have to take care in every field, whether it is a antenatal care or something. So diagnostic algorithm, the second message which I want to give, that use these diagnostic algorithm which can help to make the use of antibiotic more specific, because we are struggling with a lot of antibiotic resistance. What antibiotic we should have? It should have a good concentration in the all fluid of the urinary tract, right from glomerular filtrate to the urinary bladder. That is very important. Drug should not be nephrotoxic, and drug should not be altered in efficacy and detoxified by liver and kidney itself, and it should be bactericidal. So these are the things that makes us the good choice for the antibiotic. Effectively, broadly effective, what E. coli, Proteus, Klebsiella, they should be very effective, and a good margin of safety, good compliance, so easy to administer, and dosage schedule should be simple, because bacteria, we have this thing, so they should not be able to develop the resistance too early or too frequently. So you will this is very important, that still like the Septran and Trimethoprim and sulfamethoxazole has gone some way, suddenly they have disappeared, but all international professional body takes it as one of the first drug of choice. So this is very, very important, that what madam was saying about, because we are losing penicillin, we have lost alpha methyl dopa for various reasons, cheap drug, effective drug. Likewise, trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole has gone out of market, but still they have a very good efficacy in treatment of various UTI. Nitrofurantoin is good choice for uncomplicated, but it is a bacteriostatic and not bactericidal, and as well as the fluoroquinolones and the cephalexin. So phosphomycin, everybody wants single stat dose. Study says they are effective and they can be as effective. So phosphomycin is also a good choice because it is a single dose therapy. So asymptomatic bacteriuria is quite common, but again the third message which I want to give, that asymptomatic bacteriuria is not to be treated except in case of pregnancy. So pregnancy is a special situation. Immunosuppressed woman has undergone transplant or has undergone the urological procedure. So any sexual active woman, if she comes with the asymptomatic bacteriuria, it does not require treatment if she is not having any symptom. Any UTI in children need evaluation. So children and the man UTI need evaluation after 6 weeks, because they may be having the vesico-ureteric reflex, and this is important. So in children, I am not covering about it, but there are few drugs which is not to be given, like nitrofurantoin in children. So coming to UTI in non-pregnant women, and we have to differentiate between upper and lower complicated and uncomplicated. Usually it is better noted that the 3 days therapy is better than the single effective therapy, what we like the study shows, and a longer course of antibiotic should be given with complicating factor. So consider empirical treatment with antibiotic for otherwise healthy women aged less than 65 years presenting with severe or more than 3 symptoms of UTI. You can use dipstick test in the non-pregnant women. It is not necessary that you always do the culture and sensitivity. So again, the management of acute uncomplicated cystitis, the recommendation says phosphomycin is good, nitrofurantoin. And the nitrofurantoin is very good, and alternative is cephalosporin, and then again trimethoprim and sulfamethoxazole. Aminopenicillin, I think everybody also will agree that ampicillin does not give that good concentration in that good result into the UTI. So do not treat non-pregnant women of asymptomatic bacteriuria with an antibiotic, and treat non-pregnant women of any age with symptom and sign of acute UTI. Pregnancy, UTI in pregnancy is again a special situation, very, very special situation. So one message that every woman on first visit should have the culture sensitivity, not only the simple urine, and it should be again repeated in the third trimester. Every asymptomatic bacteria need full treatment in pregnancy because there are a lot of complications like IUGR, preterm labor and the pyelonephritis. So if it is a symptomatic bacteriuria, standard urine culture, confirm what is the bacteriuria, and you have to do the culture in pregnant women, and asymptomatic bacteriuria also be treated with antibiotic. So we know all the pregnant woman is prone to have the UTI because of compression, dilatation of renal calyces or progesterone effect and the pressure of the uterus. So it is very important that do a culture sensitivity 2 times and always treat the asymptomatic bacteriuria, because we can have a lot of life-threatening complication for the mother as well as the fetus. So pyelonephritis, IUGR, preterm birth, and this is very important. Now pregnancy is a special situation. Many times physician, so we send the patient to physician and physician says you go back, we don't know that what drug is effective. So important thing, what drug not to be given. First I will tell fluoroquinolone, aminoglycolate, sulfonamide should be avoided in pregnancy as far as possible. So don't give fluoroquinolone. So many times we see prescription of ofloxacin in pregnant women, that is not to be given. And the cephalosporin is very safe, and nitrofurantoin is bacteriostatic. It is a good but not to be given in the first and the third trimester. So nitrofuran no in first trimester, no in the near term. Amoxicillin, then cephalexin and the fosfomycin are the good choice for the use into the pregnant woman with the UTI or with the asymptomatic bacteriuria. Acute pyelonephritis, if the patient is having the back pain, chills, malaise, she has to be admitted and IV antibiotic should be given. So this is very, very important, and IV cephalosporin has the equivalent efficacy. It is a good drug of choice, and then you switch over to the oral antibiotic that has to be continued for 10 to 14 days. Whenever there is a persistent symptom and fever beyond 24 to 48 hours of the treatment, then always do renal ultrasound that she is having calculi or something. So again we are having 1000 ultrasound in the pregnancy, but sometimes really no ultrasound sees the upper abdomen and we find hydronephrosis and the kidney stone or sometimes the renal pathology. So this is very, very important because recurrent pyelonephritis occurs in 6 to 8% of cases, and these women need low dose antimicrobial suppressive therapy either with nitrofurantoin or the cephalosporin. So acute pyelonephritis, all the cephalosporin first, second, third generation is drug of choice, and it is severe, then we have to escalate antibiotic, that is piperacillin or the tazobactam. Last, about the recurrent UTI, when we say recurrent UTI, if it is 3 UTI in 12 months. So there is one reinfection because patient was having sterile culture in between, she was asymptomatic and she has a reinfection, or the relapse when there is a treatment failure, or the unresolved infection when what antibiotic you choose was not effective against the organism, or the 2 or 3 organisms were the causative organ for the UTI. So why there is a recurrent UTI? Because like what we say, it is very, again I say, it is so good to know that every virus, bacteria is so intelligent. So one defense system is that there is a apoptosis, a bacteria invade the epithelial cell is destroyed and the bacteria is destroyed. And when recurrent infection, the bacteria comes out and it invades immediately the second cell. So they become the reservoir for the infection. So it is all about defense, and that's why the natural therapy is coming in a big way. So risk factor for recurrent UTI are all menopause, family history, sexually active women, use of spermicide as well as the recent antimicrobial use. So this is important. So lab investigation in recurrent UTI you have to do at least once when the patient is symptomatic, culture sensitivity, all midstream, and the negative culture and a lack of response to treatment. Patient is having negative, then we have to think of other. And in our country we see genital tuberculosis is some of the thing that we have, the sterile pyuria patient is coming. So you have to look for the other diagnosis, don't go on treating and treating the same. You have to go for the imaging and endoscopy. So there are certain points, then we don't take it only on us, we have to go for the other thing, and these are the indication when you have to do the imaging as well as endoscopy when there is a prior urinary tract surgery, gross hematuria, renal calculi, obstructive symptom, diabetes. So when you patient doesn't respond, you have to do the other like modalities so that you know actually what is causing the recurrent UTI. So management principle. So one thing we say that yesterday only one senior gynecologist told me about all the things. So two messages that you can give if recurrent UTI, don't stop antibiotic is a long-term low-dose prophylaxis. So keep on patient on months for the long-term low-dose prophylaxis. Second is a self-start treatment. अब पेशेंट को ये बोलना है कि आपको जब लगता है कि मुझे यूटीआई हो रहा है, शी इज़ फीलिंग डिस्यूरिया, शी इज़ फीलिंग माइल्ड चिल, यू कैन स्टार्ट एंटीबायोटिक एंड यू गिव द 3 days प्रिस्क्रिप्शन कि जब आपको ऐसा होता है तो आप ये ले सकते हैं, लाइक इमरजेंसी कॉन्ट्रासेप्शन और समथिंग वी गिव बैकअप कॉन्ट्रासेप्शन. So these are the recommendation from the professional bodies because it is so widely prevalent. UTI is the thing. So long term low dose prophylaxis, and this is ofloxacin 100 gram. Half dose, that is ciprofloxacin 125 milligram, cefuroxime 250 milligram, and the nitrofurantoin 52. It is a almost half or the less than half dose, and it has to be continued for a longer time. So these are the 6-month low dose antibiotic may be beneficial if recurrent UTI is occurring, and still we don't know actually, but we know quite a good also. One is the postcoital antibiotic. When it is initiated by intercourse, then whenever there is intercourse, within 2 hours of intercourse, patient can start the antibiotic. So this is very important, that makes the medicine very, like what we can say, it is a quality healthcare what we provide, because patient is empowered to take the drugs at home whenever she have the problem. So it is a self-start postcoital and the low dose prophylaxis, and when there is a breakthrough infection, then you have to do again culture and look what is happening. So recurrent pregnancy and recurrent UTI. So again, all women with pre-pregnancy history of recurrent UTI, they have to be kept on the low dose prophylaxis for a long time in pregnancy, and persistent symptomatic or asymptomatic bacteriuria for the pregnancy, and drug of choice is nitrofurantoin and the cephalexin. Cranberry juice, a lot of preparation are coming. Probiotic, we don't know, but they have certain like positive thing, because it prevent bacteria, particularly E. coli, from adhering. What is adhesion? All UTI bacteria have the adhesion and they break that. And the probiotic is also coming, like probiotic after genes is the thing which our medicine is looking for it, that it is all altered. We are friendly with our microbiome, it's okay, our health is good. We are not friendly with our microbiome, then we are not good. So it is, disease is all about disturbance in our microbiome. And the postmenopausal women, हमेशा हम ये सवाल पूछते हैं कि वो वेलन क्रीम देते हैं या हार्मोन रिप्लेसमेंट थेरेपी देते हैं, बट नो स्टडीज एक्चुअली स्ट्रांगली सेज दैट इट एक्चुअली वर्क्स. सो नो स्टडी सेज, वी डोंट नो एक्चुअली, so it is to be individualized. So few slides from GSK that this is patient diabetic having complicated UTI, and she is having the like upper abdominal pain, chills and fever, and it is what I say, nitrite esterase and the good number of pus cells and a good number of bacteria, and what is likely diagnosis, urine culture is positive for E. coli. So we have to differentiate. The case history says the same thing, we have to differentiate between upper and lower, complicated and uncomplicated, and urine culture and imaging of urinary tract, because she is diabetic and the like immunosuppressed, and then the choice is cephalosporin and the fluoroquinolones, and again the trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole. So this is the same repetition. Catheter associated UTI, we have to be take one thing, if it is catheter associated UTI, you take culture from the tube end, not from the bladder, like bag end, because that contaminates. So you have to open and be careful, otherwise you will have the false report. And renal stone, again, so cefuroxime, acetyl, what is there, caftum, so it is a good drug what we have been using. So these are few situation with this stone with catheter, which is a complicated actually UTI. So cefuroxime is a good drug we have been using, is a first beta lactam with a higher stability, renal safety, can be used in pregnancy, and a good coverage to the common pathogenic organ. So cefuroxime, we know it has a safety profile is very high, and it can be used in recurrent as well as in the pregnancy and the high risk situation. So it is used for the uncomplicated UTI pregnancy category B, which is very important for us, and it can be used either in first trimester and third trimester, which we cannot use with the nitrofurantoin, which is again a very good and the cheap drug. So cefuroxime and Axetil has got certain very important qualities, and it is recommended that. So these are the all cefuroxime. This is the uncomplicated cystitis. So it is key highlights are the same. That cefuroxime is a good choice. We are all aware of it, and still the trimethoprim and the nitrofurantoin are also very, very good drug, and fluoroquinolones in non-pregnant women. Prognosis of UTI is it is very important and interesting. Even without treatment, uncomplicated UTI will resolve in 20% of women. So patient अपने आप भी जब हम कहते हैं पानी पियो या ये लो, तो even with antibiotic treatment, most UTI symptom lasts several days. And adverse prognostic factor are health, age, renal calculi, comorbidities like sickle cell anemia, and missing work. Like patient, again it is women empowerment and everything, that the women don't have the toilets in their working place. So they hold urine, and that is also important. So world is all. Future will be bright and balanced, so we don't know. Future also comes with its own challenges, a lot of genomic and proteinomic studies, and we may be able to understand, and a vaccine not in near future, but vaccine prevention. Madam Sharda Jain is passionate about cervical cancer vaccine, and we have really fought our country with so well COVID vaccine. So these are under the future. So for ultimately it is our defense system which is important, it is our ways of living that is important, and nature is ultimate source of health, and whenever we go away from nature is disease and ill health. So that is menstrual hygiene, urinate before and after intercourse, wear comfortable and clean clothing, avoid caffeine and stay hydrated, ensure personal hygiene remains the choice. That is the sepsis, how can we prevent? Antiseptic practice in hospital. UTI, how can we protect? The personal hygiene. Thank you very much for patient listening. These are my clinical updates you are receiving. Please join my WhatsApp community group. If you have not, I will say to Vandana, everybody, so that they can forward. And again, my vision is ready, and we have now the future is the leaders like Dr. Sharda Jain, like all our president and secretaries, that North should come in a big way in the main platform thinking process of the FOGSI, and do vote for me. Thank you very much.